Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our Wednesday where we share words of wisdom. Please like, comment, share, or subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kalia Patton, or you can do all the above. God bless you as you come in on. Look, this is our topic for today. Our topic for today is take your finger off my trigger. This is an extension of the last Wild Wednesday that we have posted. Take your finger off my trigger. Now, I'm just going to say that there are some people that know what your triggers are. They know how to trigger trauma. They know how to trigger you getting upset. They know how to trigger you to say things that you don't mean, because you wrapped up in the heat of the moment. You're wrapped up in the fact that you have been wounded. You have gone through something and someone just happened to put their finger on your trigger. So our message is take your finger off my trigger. You know what my triggers are. You know what tees me off. You know what makes me cry. You know what makes me get emotional, all bent out of shape. You know what brings me sadness, hopelessness, which you know what makes me pull and retreat into a cave and pull away from everybody. You know those triggers. You know just what to say. You know just how to respond. You know. So take your finger. That finger. You know what that finger is. Those words, those actions, the things that you do. Take your finger off my trigger. See, people know when they want you to act a certain way or to get out of character. They know just what to say. Your spouse know what to say to get you out of character. Sometimes your children know what to say to get you out of character. Sometimes folks that's close to you, your best friend, your loved one, your mom or your dad, your siblings know just what to say to get you all bent out of shape, to get you firing, to get you to blowing up out of proportion. They know those triggers. But see, a lot of times people know triggers, but they won't abstain. They won't stay away from those triggers. What they do is they continue to push the trigger. They continue. They continue to press upon you. They continue to do things that they know because they're intentional about their pursuit of you. They're intentional about damaging you. They're intentional about making you feel a certain way. So they put their finger on your trigger and they trigger you off all the time. You know, it's always a setup. It's a setup. Anytime somebody know that they can put their hands on you in a certain way or say something to you in a certain way that make you blow up, it's almost as if they are intentional in their pursuit. They know what you're going to do. They know your reaction. So if you know someone's reaction to a thing or situation or words or scenarios, why would you put your finger on their trigger? That's a question. My thing is, if you don't want nobody to set it off, if you don't want nobody to cuss, if you don't want nobody to say things, to get loud and rambunctious, get all out of character, all out of sorts, then don't put your finger on that trigger. Don't put your finger on their trigger. Some people, like I said, are intentional. They know. They already know. So it don't take a lot of discernment to know, because you know if you want somebody to react a certain way, you'll say certain things. Don't put your finger on people's triggers. You know, and that is my message for today. Because a lot of times people do that. Why they do that? Because they want to cast the blame on you versus the other person. Instead of people looking at them, they want them to look at you. Look how she acts so cray-cray. Look how he been out of shape. You see one little word that you say to him, and you see how he does. You see one little word that you say to her, and you see how they act, how they respond. They don't need the promotion. They don't need the position. They don't need to be elevated. They don't need the blessing. So I'm saying they don't need to be favored. See what I'm saying? They don't need a space. Because look at how they act. Look, they don't know how to act. See they immaturity, see how they act. See how out of character they get. But you know, you put your finger on their trigger. That's why they responded that way. So who's being the immature person? The person who knows what they're doing. You know what you're doing to the opposite person. You know what you are saying to them that's triggering certain responses. You know that. How inconsiderate of you, how incompassionate of you to do such a thing. You know, your brother, your sister. We supposed to let brotherly love continue, but instead of us loving one another, we hate on one another. We competitive with one another. Cause you know, don't look at them. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at what I did. Look at what I'm doing. Look at what they doing. You know what I'm saying? Look at how they acting versus look at how I'm acting. You see what I'm saying? I'm all pleasant and stuff. Look how they getting out of control. But you don't let them know that you were the one that put your finger on their trigger. But you want to cast blame. You want to shift blame. You want everybody to look at what they're doing and focus on the good stuff you doing over here. But you didn't allow them to know that you were the one, you were the mastermind behind all of that they acting out right now. You were the mastermind behind that. You didn't let them know that part. So who are you then? Who are you? Don't be that person that put your finger on the trigger because you know you go set it off up in that place. You know everything coming down up in that place. If you putting your finger on that trigger, you already know. The party may have started, but the party finna end if you put your finger on that trigger. We should be doing it to one another. If I know I can say something that can be damaging to you, that can cause you to get into an uproar, that can cause you to respond a certain way, I'm not gonna put my finger on no trigger for you. I'm not gonna press that button. I'm not gonna do it because I don't want you to react in such a way. Because I love you, because I care for you, because I have compassion for you, because I know you may be going through some things. You know what I'm saying? Because I know there's certain things that I can say mentally, you cannot take that. You may not be in a season of that. You know what I'm saying? You may not be in a position to accept certain things that are being said and done to you. Why would I do that if I know I'm triggering you? If I want to trigger you, I want to trigger a good response out of you. You see what I'm saying? A favorable response. I'm not trying to trigger all kind of evilness and negativity, and I'm not trying to, blow you up. You know what I'm saying? Cause you to blow up and go off the Richter scale. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to form no earthquake up in here. No hurricane, tornadoes, all these kind of storms that set unexpectedly. I'm not trying to do that. I want you to walk in peace. I want you to, you know what I'm saying? I want you to have those type of emotions that make you feel happy, that make you feel joyous, that make you feel at peace, that make you feel love. Not anger and not fear and not those things that cause you to have those negative type of responses. I'm not going to do that to you. Why? Because I care for you. We should care more for one another. We should care about how one another is feeling. Now, I get it if you don't know when people go through things. I get it. When you don't know your brother or your sister could be going through something. I get it if you don't know. You can't tell the signs. But I'm talking about these folk that blatantly they know this is a repeat offense. This is not just one time offense. I ain't talking about the one time offense people. One time offense people, they can get a free pass because sometimes you just don't know. But I'm talking about these repeat offenders that keep putting their finger on that trigger and they keep triggering a response out of you, and they know the type of response they're getting out of you. They know the type of response that you will be releasing. They know that. I'm talking about them folk. You need to stop. You need to stop, evaluate yourself, evaluate your motive and what you're doing. What you're doing is toxic. What you're doing is detrimental. What you're doing is damaging. Some people just walk into manipulation and trying to control folk using witchcraft. Those are those types of devices. And you know the enemy uses those devices against us. But then the enemy uses people. You see what I'm saying? And so these people will use these devices against other people. And they think it's okay. Yeah. Because they already feel like they can control their own destiny. So they try to control other people's destiny too. Because they know that they're going to get a certain reaction out of them. That's a form of control. You know, and we don't want to be in the business of controlling people. We don't want to be in the business of hurting people, because we're supposed to love. We're supposed to be caring for one another. You know, let this be a message to somebody, because somebody is dealing with this, and somebody may be the one that's putting their finger on the trigger. Evaluate yourself, examine yourself, and see where you are. Where do you fit in this scheme of things? Now, I know back in the day, my early marriage, part of my marriage, I knew the triggers. I knew what I could say to trigger my husband to make a certain response. I knew that. But see, as you mature and you grow together and you start really loving and embracing a person, you don't do those things because you know that they're not going to respond favorably. You're not going to do that, you know? And so when you learn better, you do better. But some people don't learn better. They're still practicing the same things they did when, like, several years ago, 10, 15 years ago. You still doing that same stuff. You know, you still up to your old tricks, your old schemes. You know what I'm saying? You're still that same person. You hadn't changed. Time didn't bring about a change for you. You're still the same. You still that old hateful person. You still that old vindictive person. You know what I'm saying? You still that person that likes to spread gossip, that likes to assassinate people, perform character assassination. You still that same person. You still that same person that cannot see the good in folk, but always spreading their negative business. You that same person. You never change. So yes, your finger would be on that trigger. But there needs to be something going on internally inside of you. Maybe it's some trauma going on inside of you that's causing you to put your finger on the trigger of people, and you know what triggers them, what triggers certain responses and reactions. You know these things. Maybe you need some healing. Maybe someone did that to you, and then you're just replicating what has been done towards you. I can see that. I can see that because that does happen. When people get abused, they abuse those that are around them. Why? Because that's all they knew in their environment. That's a mental thing. When you see something done wrong over and over and over again, it's planting a seed. It has just formulated something in your psyche to believe that's what it's supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? You see how negative influences and negative environments can cause your mind to be perceive something that's totally against the truth. It's not what it is. It's not what you were raised in. See what I'm saying? Yes, I'm a product of that environment, but when I actually got pulled out of that environment, I really saw the truth. Now it's my opportunity to embrace that truth, because it's not what I came out of. It's what I'm currently in right now. I see the truth right in front of me. But what I've been experiencing all my life, the negativity, all of these environments that I've been plugged into, it showed me a negative image of what really was something false. It really was no truth in it, because this is not the way it was. I mean, this is not the way it should be. That picture that someone planted in my head, because they showed me stuff over and over again, the wrong way to do something. That's not the truth. But I carried it over into my adulthood. And see, when truth came to me, I didn't know how to embrace it, because I've been so accustomed to seeing it done the wrong way. Till I was convinced that the lie was the truth and the truth was a lie. Woo, I done said something right there. I done hit something heavy right there. I was convinced that the lie was the truth and the truth was a lie. I can attest to that. And so you got to be in the environment of seeing that truth being revealed over and over and over again so it can plant another seed in you. Because that seed that was planted in you in your childhood, it's got to get uprooted. Because guess what? It has developed a root system. That's why we are so drawn to what the things that happened to us in our past. Because we think that's acceptable. It's okay. But now that we've seen truth, it's like we wrestling with that thing because what's inside of us has developed a root system. It's that negativity. It's the negativity that we've seen for years. It developed a root system and now it don't want to let it go. It don't want to let you go. But you have to get into that environment where that truth is being revealed and it's being spoken to you over and over and over again. You got to uproot the negativity and allow that truth to get planted deep inside of you and develop the same root system that will overthrow what you encountered and experienced in your past. Because your past don't define you, especially if it was something that was negative, something that has torn you down to nothing. That's not who you are. God is trying to bring you into a new place. He's trying to uncover the truth. The light is turning on. And it's like, we got to embrace that light. We got to allow that light to shine because it's giving you strength. It's giving you power. It's equipping you because you are not what they said. You are not what happened to you. You are not the actions of someone else's demise, someone else's problem, because they went through a problem and then they dumped their problem on you. That's in the form of any kind of abuse, sexual, physical, mental, spiritual. Their problem became your problem. They invoked it upon you and you were abused through that system. We've been there. A lot of us have been there. We know what I'm talking about without me actually going through all of the examples of it. But like I said, you got to be in enough of the light and allowing those people that can sow and deposit into you those seeds of truth that will grow and blossom, that will trump over all of that negativity that you experienced in your past. Yes. I'm preaching to somebody. I know I have jumped all over the place, but our topic is take your finger off my trigger. You don't want me to set it off now. You don't want me to get loud. You don't want that side of me. So take your finger off my trigger. Embrace me in a form of helping me to heal. That's not helping me. I acknowledge there's a problem, but you keep pushing the envelope. You keep pressing into me and revealing my problem. That's not helping me. What's going to help me? Love. What's going to help me? Time. Taking time out with people. Suffering long with folk. Because sometimes it's not a snap of a finger. Sometimes you got to go through the process with folk. Because it's not a quick fix. It's not going to take a short time to come out when you've been through it 7 years. When you've been through it 12 years. Come on now. You're just not going to snap out of it like, ooh, voila, here I am. I'm a new person. No, it takes time. Taking time with folk, loving people, being sincere. You know what I'm saying? Building people up, speaking life into them where there are dead places. Prophesying to my dead places in my life. That's what's going to help us So instead of us putting our fingers on people's struggles, let's start embracing folk. We know their issue. We know they'll turn it up. They'll turn it up. But how about trying to find a way to help them heal? Bringing light to the situation, knowing, hey, we are acknowledging this, but I want to help you. I'm not here to damage you. I'm here to help you, sis, bro. We in this thing together. We fight this fight. We together. We have our different fights at different places and seasons in our life, but we having the same fight. There's a war going on in our members. There's a war going on for our soul. There's a war going on to distract us from purpose and destiny. There's a war. There are many wars, but we will win in the end. God bless you. I love you all. Take care. I hope that it was something that I said that has encouraged you. Take your finger off my trigger. All right, you all. God bless. Love you. Bye-bye now.